Hello everyone, praise the Lord. I want to welcome you to this time of devotion. As we have been doing this, I thought I will do one English or regularly English devotions. I hope this will bless most many people. I want to share with you something which is very close to my heart. One of my favorite subjects. It is about faith. Jesus came into this world, and he spent 3.5 years doing his ministry here on this earth. The one important thing that he taught was about faith. He was looking for faith, and he marveled at faith. He commented. He said, great faith. So, faith is something very, very important. Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 6 says, without faith, it is impossible to please God. What pleases God is our faith. Faith is, if you want to define what faith is to believe that God has already done everything and it will be manifested in our lives. Maybe today you don't see those things. Maybe today you are not experiencing whatever God has promised you. But if you have faith and if you walk by faith, surely you will see it. So, faith is to believe God, take God at His word. John Wesley, one of the greatest preacher who started the Methodist movement, he was talking about faith. And he asked an old elderly lady in the congregation, he said, ma'am, what do you mean by faith? She said, faith is taking God at His word. That is as simple as that. Faith is just to believe God and take God at His word. If you see it in the word and if you believe it in your heart, that is enough. That is what faith is. So Jesus, he was teaching his disciples about faith. So one day he was going to Jerusalem. On the way to Jerusalem, he is hungry and he sees a fig tree and he goes to the fig tree. There is no fruit in the tree and he curses the fig tree. And the disciples hear that Jesus is cursing the tree. Now what he does is, he wants the disciples to listen to what Jesus was talking. As Jesus spoke to the tree, the disciples heard those things. And as that happens, they go to Jerusalem and they are back the next day. Or they come back in the evening and again the next day they're going back to Jerusalem. Then one of the disciples, Peter, turns to Jesus and he says, Jesus, yesterday you cursed this fig tree and it is dead. So Jesus says, if you turn to Mark chapter 11 and verse 22, so Jesus answered and said to them, have faith in God, or have God kind of faith. What is this God kind of faith? The God kind of faith is to speak out in faith, to believe that whatever He has spoken, it will happen. So, when you see it in the Word, how do you live by faith today? When you see it in the Word, you believe it in your heart and you speak out in faith. So Jesus did that. Jesus spoke to the fig tree, He cursed the fig tree, and the fig tree died. If the curse can work, blessing also can work. So that is why the very next verse says, if you read Mark 11 and verse 23, Jesus said, for assuredly I say to you, whoever, all of us are included, whoever says to this mountain, be removed and be cast into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that those things he says will be done, he will have whatever he says. Jesus very simply, he said, there is a huge mountain here. If you speak to this mountain and if you say, be removed and be cast into the sea, and if you don't doubt in your heart, and if you believe whatever you have said will happen, then surely it will happen. So today, what are we waiting for? God has made it so simple. He says, if you read in the Word and if you have seen it in the Word says you are healed. All you have to do is believe it in your heart and speak it out in faith. So you have a sickness. Bible says by His stripes you were healed. So you take that word and believe it in your heart and speak to your body. Speak to your, whatever, wherever, whoever has a problem. If you want your finances to line up, you are going through debt and trouble, speak to your finances. Whatever you speak, in faith, those things will happen. It's as simple as that. I hope this will help you. I hope you're going to do these things and you're going to walk by faith. Faith is what pleases God, and if you can take this very simple thing and start working on it, God can do great things. Thank you for listening to me. Start doing this. Very simple truth, but God is pleased with faith, and faith will move your mountains. God bless you all.